This sheet is posted in my courses along with the videos, so if you want to pull this up, you're certainly welcome to do so. You'll see the tabs along the bottom, and the tabs start with general TVM introductions or instructions, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go through kind of a generic approach to all, or most, not all, most of the things that we will be doing using TVM. And then each of these subsequent tabs are going to be examples of different cash flow scenarios and business scenarios, and then we'll use these tools and see if we can do those calculations. First is that there are two basic ways to solve time value of money problems. The first is to use the formula that we just derived, that PV and FV formula, and simply code that into the cells in Excel. And I'll call that using formulas, right? Where we say PV equals FV divided by 1 plus I to the n power, right? That's a formula. The second is that Excel has some very powerful functions where you don't have to do quite as much work to do the mathematical equivalent of doing these tables. And depending on the scenario, we'll use one or the other approach. So as we use the tabs, I'll illustrate how to do those, and sometimes I'll actually show both. All right, so let's jump into some examples. So here we have our friend that PV equals future value divided by 1 plus the interest rate to the n power. So let's say we had this particular cash flow example where we had 100, 105, and 7110. And the interest rate is 10%, 0.1. We could just format that as a percent if we'd like, but it's 10%. So first, the factor, you can either put a plus or an equal sign to start a formula in Excel, whatever is most convenient. So let's say plus. Plus 1 divided by open parens, 1 plus, lock onto the discount rate or the interest rate, hit F4 so that that's an absolute reference, close parens, the little caret size raises it to the power, and then let's use this field to signify the number of years. We do that as a relative reference so that as we copy it, the formula is still correct. So that would be 0.9090, which means $1 a year from now is worth $0.90 to us today. If we copy that formula, Control C, Shift, over, and Enter. If we copy that formula, you could also drag and drop, of course, you would see that it goes to 82 and 75. Money is worth more earlier than later. And in this particular case, $1 3 years from now is worth 75 cents today if the interest rate is 10%. So now we can get the present values, which again is equals or plus the factor times the cash flow, and copy that across. And we end up with these dollar amounts. And if we do the total equals sum, open parens, shade the 3 cells, close parens, we end up with $5,519. $100 a year from now, $105 2 years from now, and $71.10 3 years from now is worth $5,519 today. So that's an example of using the formulas, the ones that we just derived. And here was a little picture of it, right? 100, 105, 110, 7,000, all future value. So let's do the future value using the formula that we're accustomed to and we just derived. And let's just clear this out and let's do our example. Same format as we saw above, and I'm trying to keep it consistent so we can focus on the differences. At time, and we're going to start at time 0, 0, 1, 2. And at time 0, we put in $100. At time 1, we put in 105. At time 2, 110. And at time 3, we put in 7,000. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're pushing money out. We're investing it and not getting it until later. So the interest rate is 6%. So now the factor is plus 1, open parens, 1 plus the interest rate, let's lock it, F4, close parens, to the power of, in the first case, it's 3 years, because it's out from year 0 to year 1, 2, and 3, right? So it's 3 years. The next is, and I'll just copy it over and then adjust it. So I'm going to copy it over here, but I'm going to have to edit it because the second one is out for 2 years. F2 is the edit key. So I'll do that again. You put your cursor on the cell, hit F2 to get edit. I'm backspacing and making it 2 years. Okay. The next one, same thing, F2, and this is going to be out for 1 year. And in this case, it's actually out 0 years because in year 3, on that day, we put in 7,000, we get 7,000. So now it's the same formula, is the factor times the cash flow, copy it across, and we end up with that. And the total cash flow equals the sum of the series, and that's 7,353 and 68 cents. So if we put in this cash flow stream of 100, 105, 110, 7,000, at the end, or at the end of year 3, we would have 7,353.68. All right, so that is using the future value formula in order to handle cash flows. Those are using formulas.